Hello, beautiful learners. Hopefully, you're doing great, and I'm also good by the grace of Almighty. So, it's our day 38, and in this lesson, we're going to practice another IELTS listening test with answers and proper explanation for achieving band 9. So, before going to start our class, I just need to check out the sound quality, whether you can hear me or not. So, I just need a few seconds to check out the sound quality. Okay, just stay with me.
Instructions. You are going to hear a number of different recordings and you will have to answer questions on what.
Okay, I'm quite confident that you are listening me as well as the audio track. So let's move on. Okay, so let's listen the first instruction from her as he was talking. Okay, let me play the audio from the first. Okay, let's go.
Instructions. You are going to hear a number of different recordings and you will have to answer questions on what you hear. There will be time for you to read the instructions and questions, and you will have a chance to check your work. All the recordings will be played once only. The test is in 4 sections. At the end of the real test, you will be given 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. Now turn to section 1.
Okay, I hope you got the instruction from her as he was talking. Now let's read the another instruction for us to follow. Okay, here it says like no more than 2 words and or number for each answer. Okay, just keep it in your mind. Okay, now here we can see summer tour reservation. Okay, so here we have a simple one. Okay, so this is the answer of the simple one. Okay, and the question is nationality and the answer is American. Okay, so let's listen the first simple one. Okay, let's move on.
You will hear some time. You will see there is an example that has been done for you. On this occasion only, the conversation relating to this will be played first.
Good afternoon, the Australia Travel Agency. How can I help you?
Good afternoon. I'd like to know some information about trips to different resorts.
Okay, can you tell me your details first?
Of course.
What's your occupation?
I'm a first-year student.
Are you an Australian?
No, I'm from New York.
So you are American?
Yes.
So I hope you got the simple one as the man was asking like so you are American. Okay, then the lady was playing yes. Okay, that means she is American. Okay, and she's nationality is American. Okay, let's move on to first one. Okay, yeah, we see contact number. Okay, let's highlight it. Let's listen it for question number 1. Okay, let's move on.
The nationality of the student is American, so American has been written in the space. Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 4.
Good afternoon, the Australia Travel Agency. How can I help you?
Good afternoon. I'd like to know some information about trips to different resorts.
Okay. Can you tell me some of your details first?
Of course.
What's your occupation?
I'm a first-year student.
Are you an Australian?
No, I'm from New York.
So you are American.
Yes.
What's your full name?
My name is Ariel Lee.
Tell me your contact number, please.
It is 462-83095. And my address?
No, we...
So I hope you got the number because she was saying it's 4628309 okay, and that's I already put in on the blank. Okay, now let's move on to the next one here. Okay, the keyword we should highlight is blah blah special activities. Okay, let's highlight it, and trips have main resorts and blah blah and special activities. Okay, let's play it and let's listen it. Okay,
just need your contact number.
Okay. Can you introduce me some attractions?
Obviously it varies, but always places of famous main resorts, such as Sydney, Melbourne, or some places like that.
Just tour resorts? I mean, does that include other activities?
Yes. Besides main resorts, we will arrange for you to enjoy some local refreshments and some special activities.
okay, so he was saying besides main resorts we will arrange for you to enjoy some local refreshment and some special activities. So special activities are visible here, we can see that, right? So the here is missing of local refreshment, right? So I need to put it, okay, on the blank. Let me put it local refreshment. F refreshment and okay, refreshments would be the answer. Now let's move on to the next one. Okay, here it's okay, transport. Let me highlight it, minibus or blah blah. Okay, let's play the audio and let's listen it.
So, how much does it cost?
Usually it varies between $20 and $35 per head, depending on the place.
And what is the departure date and time?
It depends on various tours, but try to keep the departure time fixed.
When?
7 o'clock in the morning.
And how about the transport?
We have a minibus or coach, depending on...
Minibus or coach. So coach, minibus is visible here, but there is missing of coach. So let me put it on the box. Okay, coach, coach, right? Okay, let's move on to, okay, here number 4, at peak season. Let me highlight it, tourists have to blah blah. Let's listen it.
on the number of tourists.
May I need a reservation?
Yes, you know some holidays are coming, so I suggest that tourists reserve a seat in advance.
So tourists have to reserve a seat in advance. As he was saying, I suggest that tourists reserve a seat in advance. So reserve a seat would be the answer. Let me put it, okay. Reserve seat, okay. Now let's move on to question number 5, okay. Okay, here's another instruction for us to follow. No more than 3 words and or a number for each answer. Okay, here we can see place, date, number of seats, main resource. Okay, and question number 5, we are going to listen it for like blah blah National Museum. Okay, let me highlight it. Okay, let's listen it.
Is there a discount for that? Now listen carefully and answer questions 5 to 10. Could you tell me some details of the trips?
Yes, the first place is Sydney. That's on the 12th of January. We'll have 25 people in a minibus.
Fine. Going to which attraction?
We will visit one of the most famous theatres in the world.
The Sydney Opera House.
Right. You can appreciate and watch an opera there.
Really?
Okay, so the answer we should write, and the man was saying we will visit one of the most famous theater in the world. And the lady was replying that the Sydney Opera House, and the man was saying right. So that means the answer we should write is Sydney Opera House. Okay, let me put it on blank. Okay, Sydney and Y okay HOUS Opera House. Okay, that would be the answer. Now let's listen it for question number 6. Second place. Okay, let's listen it for question number 6.
What's the name of the opera?
I'm not sure. Let me check the house's arrangements. And then you can visit the National Museum to know about the history and customs of Australia.
Great.
In the evening, you can enjoy some local snacks if you like.
Fine.
We're going to the Blue Mountains on the 25th of January.
So the man was saying we are going to Blue Mountain on the 15th of January. So 15th of January is here. So as the man was saying, we are going to the Blue Mountains on the 15th of January. So Blue Mountain would be the answer. Let me put it. Okay, BLUE mountains, OUNT. This mountains would be the answer. Okay, let's move on to question number 7. Here we are going to listen it for how many seats will be there. Okay, let's listen a number for question number 7. Okay,
Blue Mountains. Is it a blue mountain?
The mountain got its name for blue fog. It is usually covered by a blue fog.
That's so interesting.
Yes, it is a popular place for young men because they are so cool, and you can enjoy lots of sports there, such as rock climbing, bushwalking, and bird watching.
How many people will go there together?
You will take a coach that has about 30 seats.
Fine.
And the next...
so the man was saying, the lady was asking how many people will go there together, and the man was replying, you will take a coach that has about 30 seats. So that means 30 would be the answer. Okay, that's all I already put on the blank. Okay, now let's move on to question number 8. Now we are going to listen a date. Okay, because it's in column 2, because in column top of the column 2 we can see it's a date. It's all about date. Okay, so we are going to listen a date. Let's listen it. Okay,
next place is Melbourne on the 10th of February with about 20 people in a minibus.
What's the resort?
You could appreciate the famous Melbourne Church, and maybe you might have a chance to attend a local exhibition, if they hold it as usual. To attend and appreciate the famous in a minibus.
What's the resort?
You could appreciate the famous Melbourne Church, and maybe you might have a chance to... And the next place is Melbourne on the 10th of February with about 20 people.
Okay, the man was saying, and the next place is Melbourne on 10th of February. So 10th of February would be the answer. Let me put it, okay? 10th February would be the answer. Oh no. F-E Feb 2 would be the answer, okay? Now let's listen it for question 9. Okay, 9 is here. Now we are going to listen it for maybe a name of a place, okay? Place. Okay, let's listen it.
People in a minibus.
What's the resort?
You could appreciate the famous Melbourne church, and maybe you might have a chance to attend a local exhibition, if they hold it as usual.
Fine. Do you have some tours to the beach?
Yes, one of the most famous coral reefs in the world is the Great Barrier Reef, and we have arranged that on the...
Okay, the man was saying, the lady was asking, do you have some tours to beach? And the man was replying, one of them, yes, one of the most famous coral coral reefs in the world is the Great Barrier Reef. So Great Barrier Reef would be the answer. Okay, let me put it on the box. Great Barrier Great Barrier Reef or the reef. Okay, that would be the answer. Now let's listen it for question number 10. Taking photo of blah blah. Let's listen it.
23rd of February.
I'm looking forward to visiting there.
Yes, many people like there. There are some interesting water sports, such as diving, swimming in the water, or just taking a photo of coral.
Great. I guess
So, or just taking off, as he was saying, or just taking a photo of coral. Okay, so coral will be the answer. Let me put it. Coral. Okay, so that's all about part 1. Let's move on to part 2 and let's listen it for question number 11. Okay, here we can see multiple questions are waiting for us. Okay, let's move on. Let's read it. The main reasons for opening bank account is blah blah. Reason for bank account. Okay, main reason for opening bank account. Let me highlight it. Okay, let's listen it.
now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 15.
Good morning, I'd like to open a bank account, please.
Good morning. What kind of account do you want to open?
I'm not sure. Perhaps you can give me some suggestions. I only want to deposit money in the bank and pay all kinds of bills easily.
Fine. I've got
So, what should I select for this question? Pay bill easily, keep money safe, to pay tuition fees. I think option A would be the answer. Okay, let me explain it to you because the man was saying, uh, I'm not sure. Perhaps you can give me some suggestions about which account I should open. And the man was saying, I only want to deposit money in a bank and pay all kinds of bills easily. So that means the main reason for opening a bank account is to pay all bill easily. Okay, that's why the answer we should select is option A. Okay, for question number 11. Let's move on to question number 12. The occupation of the client at present is, okay, occupation of the client at present. Okay, let's listen it.
got the application form here. First of all, can I have your full name, please?
Richard Lee.
Fine, Richard. What's your occupation?
I'm studying a doctor's degree now, although I was a dentist before coming here.
Well,
So I think option C would be the answer, because the man was saying, well, um, I'm studying a doctorate degree now, although I was dentist before coming here. So that means he's studying. So it would, that means he's student. So we should select option C. Okay, don't be confused, as the man was saying, I was a dentist before coming here. So it was in the first he was a dentist, but not at the present. At present he's studying. So that means the answer we should select is student. Okay, don't be confused. Now let's move on to the next one. The recommended bank account by clerk is recommended bank account by clerk is, let me highlight it. Okay, let's move on.
so you're a student.
What kind of account can you suggest for me?
How about a deposit account?
What's the difference between that and a current account?
There are many differences, such as the interest rate, overdraft and service, and so on.
Fine, I will take your recommendation.
Okay, let's talk about the main.
Okay, the lady was saying, how about deposit account? And the man was saying, what's the difference between that and current account? And the lady was explaining that there are many differences, such as the interest rate, overdraft, and service, and so on. And the man was replying, fine, I will take you recommended. So the lady was recommending for option B, I mean for deposit account. So that means the answer we should select is option B. Okay, let's move on to the next one here. Before going to next question, we have another instruction to follow. Let's read it. Okay, together. No more than 3 words and or a number for each answer. Okay, yeah, we can see credit card, solo card, and in question number 14 we have to listen it. Okay, let's listen.
Main two account card. Let's talk about the main two account cards of the deposit account.
Fine.
One card is called the solo card, and the other one is named MasterCard.
Which one is better for me?
So the lady was saying one card is called solo card and other one is called MasterCard. So here we should write is MasterCard because it's missing. Okay, we can see solo card is visible but MasterCard is not visible here, so we just need to write that. Okay, let me put it MasterCard. Okay, CARD card. Okay, so have you ever noticed that MasterCard is we have to write this way because it's I don't know, like okay, it's like you have to write this word this way because it's a word. Okay, so it's a word approved by what should I say, the company or the authority. So that's why we should write this word like this way. Okay, because maybe you or sometime write this word like this way, master and space and card. Okay, it's a wrong word. Okay, so that's why we should uh, keep no space between master and card. Okay, so the correct word would be like this, master card. Okay, there's no space between these two words. Okay, I hope you got it. Now let's move on to question number 15. Okay, annual interest rate at solo card, but we can see in the case of MasterCard, it's a 5.5%, but it's not visible for solo card. Let's listen it for solo card. Okay.
Me.
Let me introduce you to some differences of the two cards.
Okay.
The first one is annual interest rate.
Which one is higher?
Of course, it is the MasterCard. At present, its rate is 5.5%, but the Solo card is only 2.5%.
So the lady was saying the solo card is only 2.5%. So we should write 2.5%. Okay, would be the answer. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Supply. Okay, let me highlight it. Supply. Blah blah. Okay, in the case of MasterCard, it's overdraft, but in the case of solo card, we just need to listen it. Okay, let's listen it.
Now look at questions 16 to 20. Let's talk about the main two account cards of the cards. Its rate is 5.5%, but the Solo card is only 2.5%. And answer questions 16.
How about the other differences?
The service supplied with the two cards.
Could you speak specifically?
We usually supply internet service and mobile service with all of the cards, of course, including the Solo card.
So, the lady was saying we usually supply internet service and mobile service with all of the cards of course, including solo card. So, here we should buy is the internet service. Let me put it in internet service. Okay, service would be the answer. Okay, I hope you got it. Okay, now let's listen it for question number 17. Pay blah blah. Let's listen it.
Yes, I'd like to ask for the service of mobile and does Solo card have an overdraft?
I'm sorry, but MasterCard has such a service.
Fine.
If you want to take more money out of the bank than you have in it, be very careful. You should not do this without the bank's permission, and you will have to pay some charge.
Do you mean
Pay some charge? So some charge would be the answer, or you can just write only charge. That would be also correct one. Okay, let me write it. Some charge. C-H-A-R-G. Some charge. Okay. Oh no, I got a mistake here. Okay, now let's listen it for question number 18. Next. Okay.
mean interest?
No, I mean the overdraft charge.
How much is that charge?
According to the bank's rules, the minimum fee is about 2%.
Fine.
The last item of the two cards is the requirement.
Okay, so requirement would be the answer because the lady was saying the last item of the two cards is the requirement. So requirement would be the answer. Let me put it on the box. Okay, requirement. Okay, requirement. Requirement. Okay, now let's move on to question number requirement. Okay, I hope I got it correctly. Now let's move on to question number 19. Deposit at least blah blah.
There is no limitation of the Solo card, but if you want to get MasterCard, you should deposit a minimum sum of £1,500.
So for MasterCard, you have to deposit minimum sum of £1,500. Okay, so that means we should, as the man was saying, the lady was saying, a minimum sum of 1500 pounds would be the answer. Okay, pounds, pounds. Okay, I hope you 1500. Okay, now let's move on to the next one. Question number 20. Okay, where is I got it. Here's the another instruction before going to question number 20. Okay, write no more than two words and or a number for the answer. Okay, what time do the most banks open on Saturday? So banks open on Saturday. Let's listen it.
The first time.
Oh, what's the requirement of money?
What do you mean?
I mean, I cannot deposit cash when I open a bank account.
Don't worry, we accept cash and cheque or even money order.
Great.
So which card did you decide to open?
I'd like to open the MasterCard.
A good choice. How often would you like to receive your statement?
Monthly, please.
Okay, the last one you should know is the opening time. Banks usually open from 9 a.m. until 4:30 p.m. from Monday to Friday, but most branches open until 3:30 p.m. on Saturdays.
Okay, so on as this question is asking for only Saturday, the lady was saying banks usually open from 9 a.m. until 4:30 p.m. from Monday to Friday, but most branches open until 3:30 p.m. So that means it's open at the same time Monday to Friday and the Saturday. So but it closes Monday to Friday at 4:30, but closes at 3:30 on the Saturday. So we should write is 9 a.m. to 3:30. Okay, sorry. 9 a.m. Now 3:30 p.m. Okay. Okay, let's move on to the third part. Okay, here we have again multiple choice question. Okay, choose the correct letter A, B or C. Okay, so how many parts does a pepper include? How many parts does a pepper include? Okay, let's listen it.
Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 24.
Good morning. Oh, it's just hit 12. Good morning, Miss Potter. May I come in?
Oh, Jerry, of course. Come in and take a seat, please.
Thank you.
Well, how about your assignment?
Do you mean my paper?
Yes.
I still think about the draft, but I hope you can give me some help and suggestions.
Of course. How long will it take you to finish your draft?
I'm not sure. Maybe 3 days?
My advice is that you should spend a lot of time on your draft. As you know, a good beginning is very important for a paper. A good draft can help you outline your paper and even benefit your argument.
Okay, I will try my best to write up my work. Miss Potter, how many parts are in the paper?
Generally speaking, there are 4 parts and references.
So there are 5 parts.
Right, contents, introduction, main.
So 5 would be the answer. Don't be confused with 4 as the lady was saying. Generally speaking, there are 4 parts and references. So speaking, there are 4 and reference. Okay. So that means in total it will be 5. Okay. So let's move on to question number 22. How many words does a paper need? Okay, how many words? Let's highlight it. Okay, let's listen it.
Body,
And conclusion?
yes, and a bibliography.
So how about the word limitation of my paper?
According to the requirements, you have to write at least 3,000 words and not over 5,000.
3,000 word and not about 5,000. Not above 5,000. So at least 3,000 but not above 5,000. So that means 5,000 words are allowed to write. Okay, so option C would be the answer. Okay, now let's move on to question number 23. What's the tutor's point about the internet resource? Okay, let me highlight here for this question. Tutor's point about internet resources. Okay, let me highlight it. Okay, let's play the audio and let's listen it.
Okay, 3 to 5,000.
Right. How about your research?
I haven't begun to do the research.
Why?
Because I'm not sure about the research method. I mean, I cannot decide to use which one now.
I remember I suggested you to use the method of interview.
Yes, but I think maybe questionnaire is better for my work.
Really? Tell me your reason.
I have to spend some time of the day on a part-time job, so I think maybe a questionnaire is a good way to collect the data that I need.
Fine. Oh, do you search resources or data from the internet?
Yes, I think it's a good way to collect data, and as you know, it can help save lots of time.
Jerry, in fact, many students do most of their research on the internet. You might think that it is an easier way to get resources, but most data are from highly unreliable resources, so be critical.
Okay.
Okay, so option A would be the answer. Okay, because the lady was saying there, in fact, many students do most of their research on the internet. You might think that it's an easy way to get resource, but most data are from highly un, unreliable resource. So be critical. So the tutor's point about internet resource would be critical. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay, question number let's listen for question number 24 to 5. Okay, now let's read the question. What does the tutor warn the student about about the paper? Okay, tutor warn the student about paper blah blah. Let's listen it.
I will pay attention to that.
Now look at questions 25 to 30. There are some things you should consider when you write the paper.
Okay.
Be careful with your references and quotations, and do not share other people's work. I mean, you should write clearly about reference books, and do not forget to acknowledge the original writers. Otherwise, you will be failed for plagiarism.
Okay, I've got it.
So I think option B would be the answer because the lady was saying be careful with your references and quotations and do not share other people's work. I mean, you should write clearly about references books and do not forget to acknowledge the original writers. Okay, so otherwise you will be failed for plagiarism. So that means research data would be the okay answer. Okay. Oh no, it should be, I think I should select it option C, okay? Because the tutor is uh, warning the warning the student about plagiarism, okay? So plagiarism would be the answer, okay? So let's listen it for the remaining one, okay?
The other point is...
Deadline?
No, deadline is the date of handing in your work. You'd better hand it in on time. But if you have a reasonable...
Okay, we are out of time. I need to replay it again, okay?
point you should pay attention to is your research data
Okay, reference.
list. The first one is Drake Wister's book.
Right, by the Cambridge University Press.
Write me Drake Wister's book. Let's check the reference book list. The first one is... Fine. Let's check the reference book list. The first one is Drake Wister's book.
Right, what's the title?
Global Economy. With fine. Search data. That's best.
Deadline?
No.
Okay, I've got it.
The other point is...
Deadline?
No. Deadline is the date of handing in your work. You'd better hand it in on time. But if you have a reasonable excuse, you can ask for an extension.
Fine. Sorry to interrupt you.
That's okay. The other point you should pay attention to is your research data.
Okay, I will write them clearly.
Okay, so now we should select option B because the lady was saying, okay, the other point you should pay attention is attention to is research data. So research data is in option B, and that's what I already choose. Okay, now let's move on to question number 26 to 30. Here is another instruction for us to follow. Okay, no more than 3 words for each answer. Just keep it in your mind. Okay, so we are allowed to just write 3 words, not more than. Okay, so here we can see author, title, publisher. Okay, here the author name is Dark Writers Richter, and we should listen it for the title. Okay,
Oh, Miss Potter, could you recommend to me some good reference books about the topic of my paper?
Fine. Let's check the reference book list. The first one is Drake Wister's book.
Right, what's the title?
Global Economy.
so global economy would be the answer. Okay, let me put it global it would be the answer. Okay, now let's listen it for question number 27. Okay, let's listen it for the second author name. Okay,
Is it the one published by the Cambridge University Press?
Right. And I think Victoria Smith's book is a good choice.
What's that title?
The Strategy of Marketing.
so the man was saying is the one published by Cambridge University Press. The lady was replying right, and I think Victoria Smith's book is a good choice. So Victoria Smith would be the answer. Okay, so let me put it on the blank. Okay, oh, sorry. Here, Smith, Smith, okay, would be the answer. Now let's listen it for question number 28.
And which publisher?
London Press.
Fine, and
Okay, so London, which the man was asking, and which publisher? The lady was replying, London Press. So London Press will be the answer. So let me put it. N D O N P R E. Oh, sorry, P R E double S. Press. Will be the answer. Okay, let's listen it for question number 29. Okay, now we are going to listen it for the another author name. Okay, author name. Okay, let's listen it.
how about others?
The book called The Economics Tendency is a good one for your paper.
Really? And the writer and the publisher?
The writer is Hilary Justice, and the publisher is Oxford University Press.
Can I borrow it from the library?
Of course.
Great.
And the last one that is helpful to your work is the book of William Hanna.
How do you spell the
So William Hanna. Now let's listen whether they spell the name. Okay.
surname?
H-A-N
How do you spell the surname?
H-A-N-N-A.
Okay, and the title of this book?
So William Hanna would be the answer. She just spelled the Hanna surname, but we need to write the whole name. Okay. W-I-I-A-N. William Hanna. Okay, would be the answer. So let's listen it for the question number 30. The title. Okay, let's listen it.
N-N-A.
Okay, and the title of this book?
Business Management, published by Cambridge University Press.
So business management would be the answer. Okay, let me put it. B plus L M A N N G E N T. Business management. Okay. Management. Okay, that's all about part 3. Now let's jump into part 4. Okay, before going to move on part 4, we have another instruction for follow. Okay, let's read it. Okay, no more than 3 words for each answer. Okay, here we can see credit card fraud. Okay, now okay, yeah, we can see it's okay. Criminals need a chip and blah blah to steal credit cards details. Okay, let's listen it.
Press.
Okay,
But you cannot borrow the book from the library.
why?
Because it... Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40. Hello. In today's programme, we have invited Ken Farrow, Head of Financial Crime at Lloyds TSB, to introduce some information about credit card fraud. Welcome, Farrow.
Thanks, Catherine.
Has a chip and PIN given new chances for thieves to steal the details of our credit cards?
Maybe. In the past, there has been typically 50,000.
So the lady was saying chip and pin given new chances for thieves to steal the details of our credit cards. So pin would be the answer. Pin. Okay. Now let's listen it for question number 32. Methods of copying a magnetic stripe to blah blah. Okay, let's listen it.
Or 60,000 ATMs in the UK where people's PIN could be collected. And now there's hundreds of thousands of points of sales terminals. It's a fraud where criminals capture details and then make a magnetic stripe card copy.
How easy is it to do this?
One way is to modify a terminal. So that's what's happening often in the past.
So one way is modify terminal. So modify terminal would be the answer. Let me put it. Modify a terminal. Terminal would be the answer. Okay, let's listen it for question number 33. Okay, to use a blah blah. Let's listen.
With cash machines. The same can be done for chip and pin terminals. The other way is to replace it with an entire counterfeit. There have been incidences in America and in Europe with entire fake ATMs being set up. The last way is to set up a concealed camera and have somebody using sleight of hand to swipe.
So the man was saying the last way is to set up a concealed camera. So concealed camera would be the answer. Let me put it. Okay, CEALED camera. Okay. Now let's listen it for question number 34. $100 for equipment and blah blah.
Wipe your card through another machine so that you don't even need to modify the main machine.
If someone decided to set up a little device to modify one of these handheld pin pads, how easy would that be to do?
Usually it wouldn't be technically too hard. You just need about £100 to prepare for some equipment and raw parts.
Small equipment and raw parts. So raw parts would be the answer. Let me put it. Raw parts. Okay, let's listen it for question number 35. Here we have another instruction to follow. No more than 2 words and a number for each answer. So we are just allowed to write 2 words. Okay, now let's read it and highlight some code for this question. The terminals have a function of blah blah to credit fraud.
But it would take some engineering. The terminals themselves have a function of tamper resistance. If you try to open the case...
So the man was saying the that terminals themselves have a function of temper resistance. So temper resistor would be the answer. Let me put it. Okay, the MP temper resistor. Yes. MCP resistance. Okay, now let's listen it for question number 36. Professionals in the UK use blah blah to monitor the cash machines. Okay, let's listen it.
The machines will shut down and make them inoperative. But there's only so much they can do against a persistent attacker, compared with an ATM. Well, once a card is copied and the PIN is obtained, crooks can make a fake card and use the PIN to withdraw money.
Do all cash machines accept these cards in the UK?
Cash machines in the UK may not accept these cards, but many machines abroad will.
Why?
It depends on our radar. We can obviously know what they are doing while criminals can't break the chip at the moment. So what they're doing is to use the old method to skim the magnetic strips on the cards.
Okay, that means radar would be the answer. Put it. Okay, radar would be the answer. Okay, now let's move on to question number 37. A majestic strip on the credit card is designed for is designed. Misstrip credit is designed for blah blah customers. Okay, let's listen it.
However, they realise that they cannot succeed in the UK, so they go on to the continent and to other countries in the Far East and use them where ATMs are not secured for chip use.
Right. So they can take the old style card and use it abroad and get the cash out more easily.
That's right. There is a magnetic strip attached to the card for customers who are travelling.
So what are you doing about this increase of use in foreign cash machines of cards that have been stolen here?
What we're doing is to gradually extend our security blanket. That means we will monitor the card usage, whether it's in the UK or abroad. If we feel there's something wrong, we will contact and confirm with the customer. We're up against organised crime. And organised crime is trying to get one step ahead of us. And we're trying to keep one step ahead of them.
Yes. How does security work in UK machines? Because sometimes fake cards will work there as well, won't they?
When a bank is looking at its arrangements, it has to balance up convenience to keep to gradually extend. There is a
Card and use it abroad and get the cash out more right. So they
where ATMs are not secured for chip use, Far East, and use them where ATMs are not secured for chip use.
Right. So they can take the old style card and use it abroad and get the cash out more easily.
That's right. There is a magnetic strip attached to the card for customers who are travelling.
So for the customer who are traveling, so traveling would be the answer. Okay, let me put it. T-R-A-P-L-I-N-G. Traveling would be the answer. Okay, traveling. Let's listen for question 38. Most banks arrange a blah blah between convenience and security.
So what are you doing about this increase of use in foreign cash machines of cards that have been stolen here?
What we're doing is to gradually extend our security blanket. That means we will monitor the card usage, whether it's in the UK or abroad. If we feel there's something wrong, we will contact and confirm with the customer. We're up against organised crime. And organised crime is trying to get one step ahead of us. And we're trying to keep one step ahead of them.
Yes. How does security work in UK machines? Because sometimes fake cards will work there as well, won't they?
When a bank is looking at its arrangements, it has to balance up convenience to customers with security.
Okay, so balance would be the answer. Put it B there and C E. Let me explain it to you, because the man was saying when a bank is looking at its arrangements, it has to balance up convenience to customer with security. So it has to balance up. So balance would be the answer. Okay. Now let's listen for question 39. The fraud rate has fallen by blah blah.
Yes. So what are you doing to make things more secure?
I think the chip and the pin situation has really improved. And if you look at the figures, in fact, hard fraud has dropped by 24% over the last period.
So 24% over the last period. Okay, so 24% would be the answer. 24% would be the answer. Okay, as the man was saying, the figures in fact hard fraud has dropped. So dropped means fall. So here we can see it's a fallen, but in our speech we listen that dropped. Okay, so dropped by 24%. So 24% will be the answer. Don't be confused. Okay, just keep going on with me. Okay, evidence indicates fraud has always related to blah blah. Let's listen it.
I think you can say this program has done well.
Yes. I can see the figures, But there has been a huge amount of coverage in the press this week. Some banks have stopped using PINs. Doesn't that decrease the public's trust in this new system? And some people even think the new system is designed for new fraud.
I don't think so. I'm not going to comment on particular cases. What I would say is that usually the evidence of crime has always been with the old technology, not with the new.
So
old technology would be the answer. Okay, let me put it. Old technology would be the answer. Let me explain it to you. As the man was saying, what I would say is that usually the evidence of crime has always been with old technology, not with the new. So that means the answer we should write is old technology. Okay, so that's all about today's lesson. Now I need to submit it. Okay, before going to submit it, I just need to reclick each question one more time because we was out of time at the middle of our practice. Okay, just keep with me and I will show you the answer. Okay, after reclicking each answer once again. Okay. Oh. Okay, we are done. Let's submit it and let's see how much we scored. Okay. Okay, we got 9 out of 9 and it says well done. Okay, we did it, well done. Okay, and we are correct our 40 out of 40. Okay, so we have made any mistake today. Okay, we have don't any mistake today now. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson and I would recommend you to stay with me and practice with me every day. Okay, just keep supporting me by watching my class. Okay, and be attentive to your lesson and what I deliver every day. Okay, so see you in the next class. Bye for now. Bye.